Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Matt Williams. I'm a tutor in politics here at the University of Oxford. A lot of people want to come and study here at the University of Oxford. We receive about 24,000 applications for our undergraduate degrees and about 40,000 applications for our graduate degrees. For both undergraduate and postgraduate, we have about 6 applicants for every available place. So a lot of people would like to come and study here. And having worked in admissions and access for the last 15 years, I've noticed something really interesting, which is that it's the people that don't want it as much as others that are more likely to be admitted. So this has led me to wonder whether or not, if more generally in life, to attain what you want, you might be better off not wanting it quite so much. Now this seems slightly odd and paradoxical, but I've been doing a bit of reading of a fantastic book by Hofmann and Nordgren, and I'll link that in the description so you can check it out yourself, on the psychology of desire. And it makes a lot of sense that at a certain point our desires become unmanageable and unregulated, and at that point we start to become beset by all sorts of cognitive biases. And that can very much impair our capacity to attain the very desires that we are so keen to attain. So it sounds a bit odd, but if you really want to attain a place at a university like Oxford, Harvard, MIT, Cambridge, you name it, you need to sort of want it a little bit less. So let's sort of start with an analogy. Let's think about a loving relationship, which is another aspect of our lives which is so governed by desire, quite understandably. Imagine there are 2 people, person A and person B, and person A becomes infatuated with person B to the extent that they are almost obsessed. That will actually likely impair the likelihood that person A will start a relationship with person B, because, I mean, apart from anything else, it's quite intimidating for person B to be in that sort of situation. But what's going on in person A's mind? Well, person A is looking on person B as the solution to all of their pain. They are seeing them as the one, as the only sort of missing piece of the puzzle that will lead to lifetime's fulfillment and happiness. But of course person B, as with any person, could not possibly fulfill that. So person A is beset by a fundamental cognitive bias. Any bit of evidence they receive from the world, they will translate into that theory that person B is just perfect and completely going to solve all of their problems. But that's just not true. So person A is therefore dwelling in a bit of a fantasy world. Okay, so that's one of the crucial components of unregulated or underregulated desire, is that it leads to fundamental cognitive biases. You're not dwelling in reality, you're dwelling into something that comes close, perhaps very much within a fantasy. The other problem, of course, is that you start to misuse key resources that could have helped you attain your desire in the first place. So you might use a lot of nervous energy, you might waste a lot of time fretting about certain things that doesn't actually help you attaining your ultimate goal. So how does this relate to universities? Well, similar to universities, sometimes people attain certain cognitive biases when it comes to universities like Oxford. They think, well, if I get into Oxford, I will be happy. That will be it. My life of pain and suffering will be over forever. Now, I'm being a bit sort of harsh. I'm not trying to be rude or patronising. I used to think in a similar way. I used to think, well, if I get into Oxford, then I'll have proven something to the world. I'll be able to sort of hold my head up high and feel good about myself. But that was wrong. That was a fantasy, because what I'd forgotten was that what I really wanted and what Oxford really wanted from me was someone that was really keen to study the world and the universe, not someone who was keen to go to Oxford because it's Oxford. And of course, loads and loads of universities could have fulfilled that desire. So me putting so much onto Oxford was a cognitive bias. I was wrong. I was fantasizing that Oxford was the only way to attain what I wanted, and it wasn't. And that meant that it impaired my performance, okay? And it likely impairs the performance of literally thousands of other students that apply to universities like Oxford. And it becomes particularly clear when it comes to utilizing those key resources to get what you want, which was the other part of the picture that I mentioned earlier. If you're applying to Oxford and you're so desirous of attending the university, you are likely to psych yourself out, especially in key crunch points in the admissions process, such as submitting your application, taking any admissions tests that you may be required to take, and of course in an interview. If in the interview you think, this is it, this is my opportunity to attain lifetime's fulfillment and happiness, and you don't get it, it's going to be so nerve-wracking. And it's the people that are a little bit more chilled, a little bit more laid back, that have a plan B in their mind. They think, yeah, I'd like this, but it's not going to be everything if I don't get it. They're going to be much better performers on the day. And it's because they've regulated their desires more capably. So please think about this. It's a really important subject. And I want to help lots of people apply to Oxford, and I want to change the university so it becomes much more diverse. And to do that, we need lots of people to think about their own desires. Desire, as Buddha famously put it, is the cause of all pain. So be careful, because your desires can really hurt you, especially if they're getting to the stage of being unregulated or undermanaged. And it just takes a notion of stepping back, thinking about, why do I want this? And what is it that I actually want out of this? Is it something that is realistic? In which case, great, pursue it with vigor, but make sure you're pursuing it with all of your resources, all of your energy focused on that task in hand. Or are you pursuing this for something that's maybe slightly unrealistic? Have you not necessarily thought through the implications of that desire? Are you desiring something that simply could not exist and could not be achieved at a university like Oxford? So I'd love to know what you think about this. Let me know in the comments. Please take care of yourselves, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much. Bye now.